there. When are you taking me there? Is the question my elder daughter asks me whenever I have plans to visit Bhutan. She's so fascinated with the stories and the pictures which I shared upon my return. Now, this 5-minute speech, I'm going to divide into 3 topics. First, what are the similarities between Nepal and Bhutan? What makes us different? And the third one is my perception about Bhutan. Both the countries are landlocked and have never been colonized. Both the countries are amongst the least developed countries in the world and have immense hydropower potential. Citizens of both the countries speak Nepali, and both the national identity is based on religion. Bhutan being a Buddhist nation and Nepal being a Hindu nation. What makes us different? Do you know, people in Bhutan are the happiest in the world, according to the Gross National Happiness Index. Do you know what is the GDP per capita of Bhutan? Any idea? No, it is 3 times more than that of Nepal. They seem to be a richer and happier people than us. Another important aspect which I would like to highlight here is the corruption. I was quite surprised to learn from my Bhutanese friend, Karma, who said, we may be very slow growers, but I can vouch and say we are corruption free. And I was wondering how that is possible, and I asked him, and he said, there are multiple monitoring mechanisms, and if one does not work, the other one is able to catch the person for corruption. We would be so happy if that was the case in Nepal. Another difference between Bhutan and Nepal is the free education and the free health services. If you fall sick in one of the remotest villages in Bhutan, you would be airlifted to the tertiary care center in Thimphu, get treated, and then return by air at no personal cost. Imagine such a service in Nepal. Another aspect is the education. From the primary education to the tertiary education, it's free. The government looks for opportunities for the students to be trained on education. And where do they get trained? In almost top colleges around the world. Another difference between Bhutan and Nepal is the environmental conservation. Imagine 70% of our country being forest. Do you know how much percentage of forest do we have in Nepal? Any guesses?
3.5.
3.5. It is more than that. It is around 28%. Imagine more than 70% and 28%. Another important difference which we have is they don't slaughter animal in the country. All the meat which is consumed in Bhutan is imported. Now, let me go to the perception which I have during the multiple visits which I had in that country. Why I was thinking of Bhutan was because of the bucket list to visit Taksang, the tiger nest. In 2016, we had an opportunity to visit the country for the Rotary Convention, but at the last minute it was cancelled. So my dream was not fulfilled. Then in 2017, I landed up in Bhutan for the first time for induction training on faculty development program at Kesar University of Medical Sciences. I was very impressed with the zongs, the fortresses of Bhutan, which I visited at Paro, Thimphu, and Punakha. Any country's richness is gauged by the architectural and cultural heritage, and I could witness it when I was there. Another important perception was the architectural facades. When you enter Bhutan, it looks like you are in Europe, where you have those architectural facades. It is cleaner, and it is they also said, it is very expensive to build a house in Bhutan. So, what does the government do to the poor people? They build houses with those facades in place, and imagine the rent which the low-income people have to pay is around 100 to 200 neutron, their currency. So they really look after their people. Another important perception is the food. Food, their staple diet. Have you tasted amatachi?
Yeah. Yes.
The cheese and the chili is the staple diet. And when I say this, my mouth is watering. So it is that tasty. If you get a chance to relish, please don't miss the opportunity. So with so much of similarities and many, many differences, Bhutan overall seemed to be a richer and a happier country. So, like my daughter Hannah, I'm sure many of you are thinking, when are you taking me there? When are you taking me there? Over to